Microsoft 365.
Oh, we're on that.
That was just minutes.
Okay, folks, we will go ahead and call this meeting of the Richmond City Council to order. If you would all please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. The clerk will now call the roll.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Zimmer.
Here.
Councilmember Zimmer.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Hines.
Here.
Councilmember Luce. Here. Councilmember Norris.
Here.
Councilmember Hood.
Here. All right, we have all 8 council members present. We have everybody here. We're down to item D tonight, agenda approval.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Councilmember Hine made a motion for approval of tonight's agenda, seconded by Councilmember Luke. Questions, comments? Councilmember Luke.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to table bill number 6365.
Second.
Motion's made by Councilmember Luke, seconded by Councilmember Hine to table Bill 6365. Further comments or questions? I think we're waiting on the final contract language.
Yes, sir.
Seeing none, those in favor of the lead or tabling Bill 6365, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstaining, motion carries. Now we're back to the original approval of the amended agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
Yours is on the amendment. Motion's made by Councilmember Luke, seconded by Councilmember Patel to approve tonight's amended agenda. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstaining, that motion carries. We are down to public comments. So I have 2 public comments. Mr. Penson.
My name is Mike Pinson, 11420 Bengal Road. This is a little incident with a Cane Corso or Italian Mastiff, and killed someone's dog, small dog, 14 years old. But I had something I'd like to read here. This is a politician. It's been banned or restricted by cities in Arkansas, Colorado, Idaho, Kansas, Nebraska, Arkansas, Florida, Washington. After you catch Tony's wife, James King Corso, also known as the Italian Mastiff. When the dogs in closing figure of the Marside can be trained these dogs use one of the dog-grooming experience. Plus, they aren't the best fit for a family with young children. Additionally, can't reports of being long hunting lives. They have been known to kill cats, small dogs, so having a solid fence and at least a 6-foot fence is not to be over the year of the test becomes important. Isolated reports of violence and action play roles in legislation in this state. Animal behaviors, Richard Wolski writes in the brief, I think the vast majority of Cane Corsos have potentially made great family pets. And I'm not trying to say that this dog should be banned. And what I'm trying to say is that it needs to be addressed differently in normal circumstances. These people that are here tonight, Mr. Whaley, as a dog killed, they have a 5-year-old grandson, and that grandson being out there that day when this incident happened, there's no question something could have happened. The dog has been removed from the state. Chief informed me tonight, they followed through and contacted the area of Wednesday and notified them of the danger of the dog. These people still have 3 dogs and only have a 3-foot fence, and I'm asking the council to possibly review the ordinances with what is needed to have these dogs protected. But they have a 3-foot fence between Mrs. Whaley's trade block and yard, just because of that incident. So I ask this, if the council should review that. Thank you very much.
The comments are duly noted. I also have a request here from Mrs. Fisher. I'm going to paraphrase, if you don't mind, unless you want to read it yourself, because she had sent me a 3 paragraphs regarding to the asphalt plant. And you wanted it read into or just made into the record. Is that correct, Ms. Fisher? You want this made part of the record for tonight? I'll paraphrase it real quick. Okay, basically she is concerned with the location of an asphalt plant that was approved by the council. The asphalt plant would be at 14559 Missouri Bottom Road, next to the river, and in a floodplain. The concern is major health issues, with that there are plenty of safer places in the city of Bridgeton for which it can be better controlled. It was indicated that this company had a plant in Bridgeton already, which it did. It was over at the landfill. Asphalt plants, in her comments here, mix gravel and sand with crude oil to create the asphalt that's used to pave our roads and streets and highways and parking lots across the United States. The comments in this paper state that the plants release millions of pounds of chemicals to the air through production, including cancer-causing toxic air pollutants such as arsenic, benzene, and formaldehyde. She's concerned that these chemicals could get into the water in times of flood along the Missouri River, which we have every few years. How would they prevent that? Even heavy rains can wash chemicals into nearby streams and creeks that go into the nearby river. She said that we need to protect ourselves and the life on this planet for ourselves and our children. We need to carefully consider our choices. So this will be entered into the record for you. Okay, further comments or questions from the public? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of tonight's meeting. We'll go on to approval of the minutes of the January 18th, 2023 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion's made by Councilmember Hines, seconded by, not Councilmember Hines, Councilmember Hood, and seconded by Councilmember Grimmer for the approval of the January 18th, 2023 meeting minutes. Further comments, questions, suggestions, changes? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstaining, that motion carries. On to item G tonight. I believe the police chief has an introduction for us, a new one of our officers.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me tonight. I'm pleased to introduce Junior Piedra. I'll give you a little bit of background about Junior. He's a graduate of the St. Louis County Police Academy in 2016. He comes to us with 6 years of police experience. He is attending Jefferson College to obtain a criminal justice degree. He also served active duty in the United States Navy for 4 years, from 2012 through 2016, where he received many awards, including the Flag of Honor Guard, Hurricane Irene evacuation of residents in Queens, New York. And he's also currently in the Navy Reserve and has been in that since 2016 when he came out. Junior was born in Peru. He lived in New York City when he first came over and went to school there. He's fluent in Spanish and speaks some French. So we're really excited to have Junior on our staff. I think he's going to be quite an asset to our department, especially being bilingual. I know that he had told me that he did some volunteer work for AA and had been in the Bridgeton community working with some of our Hispanic community that has some issues with alcoholism, and he serves as a translator and working through that. So like I said, also I don't want to go without saying he just is a new father of a baby girl. So we're excited about that as well. But anyway, I wanted to introduce Junior. And also tonight we have with us the chairman of the Board of Police Commission, Jim Hartog. We have Nancy Lopia, a member, and also Casey Hewitt, members of the Police Commission. I didn't know if you guys wanted to come on up. But I'm proud to introduce Junior to our family.
Junior, do you have anything you wanted to say?
the Bishop family now, and looking forward to working with everybody and looking forward to meeting everybody in the community.
Very good. I got the opportunity to meet Junior when he was sworn in as an officer the other day, so met him and his family. Very nice. I'd like to compliment the police commission. They've been doing an excellent job in recruiting and then hiring individuals to serve as officers in the city of Richmond. So we appreciate the service that these volunteers are giving to us. Thank you all very much. All right, moving on to tonight's agenda, then we have a recess for our public hearing. So we'll recess. Mr. Drayton, do you want to start us off? We have a court reporter present, so we'll also have to swear you in. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Zachary, 12355 Nashville Bridge Road, Richmond, Missouri, 63044.
Okay, and this is for a special use permit for the Pattonville School District at the Bridgeway Elementary School, correct?
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
Okay, this is a public hearing for application number 22-PZ-22. Oh, before I get ahead of myself here, also I do have a folder of exhibits, and I will read those for the record.
Please.
They include a copy of the report to the mayor and city council from the Planning and Zoning Commission dated January 25th, 2023. A copy of the staff report to the Planning and Zoning Commission dated January 5th, 2023. A copy of the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes from the January 9th, 2023 meeting. A site plan for the proposal and by reference ordinance number 70-25 zoning ordinance with amendments through December 7th, 2022.
It's so ordered that those exhibits be entered into the record for this public hearing.
Thank you. So this is application 22-22. This is an application to amend a special use permit. Special use permit that was passed by ordinance 18-14. It's for more building additions at Bridgeway Elementary School and some fire lane modifications. The address is 11635 Oakberry Lane. The property is in the R2 single family dwelling district. This went to the Planning Commission on January 9th, 2023, had a public hearing. Planning Commission recommended approval by a vote of 8-0. I've got an overview of the property. So this is Bridgeway Elementary School with their accessory parking areas and track playground areas. It is zoned R2 and it's surrounded by R2 zoning and a mix of all single-family dwellings. Just a quick note on ordinance 18-14 that was within the last few years. That was the special use permit that came before council to reconfigure the cul-de-sac. They vacated the end of Oakberry Court at that time, reconfigured the cul-de-sac for better access for school buses, and then also incorporated that single-family dwelling, or it was a single-family dwelling on the lower right-hand side of the image within the property boundary, incorporating that into use by the school for accessory purposes. An overview of the site, and I also did mention too, so the area is circled in the middle, the one to the west of the school and then south of the gym, south of the gym. Those are the two areas where the additions are proposed. The one to the larger one to the west, that'll be a two-story addition for classroom space, form shelter, and then there's a small one to the south of the gym that's for accommodating stage. Under review of the proposal, it is consistent with the future land use map in the comprehensive plan. The use of the property will remain at an elementary school. There's no proposed work in the right-of-way. Access and circulation will remain the same. There is also a proposal to improve some of the fire lanes to the north of the building. This has been reviewed by Pattonville Fire District and they do not have any objections. Parking remains in compliance with zoning ordinance and the land use will remain the same, so we know negative impact on the neighborhood character. I do have a quick summary of the conditions that were approved by the Planning Commission. We will require a landscaping plan for review and approval prior to any building permit being issued, and the conditions set forth in ordinance 18-14, the most recent special use permit amendments will also remain in effect. Again, just another view of where the proposed additions will be. And then this is screen
site plan was submitted by the applicant, the civil engineer for the project. I did mention earlier on the left-hand side of the picture, they have been coordinating with MSD. There is a proposal for a new stormwater detention basin as well. That's all I have. Are there any questions?
Further questions from council to Mr. Bright? Seeing none. Thank you. Is the petitioner present who would like to come forward? Good evening. Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please state your name and address.
I'm a civil engineer with CEC, and on behalf of Hattonville School District, we thank the council for considering our application for a amended site special use permit.
Very good. Do you have anything else?
Well, I think that was actually a pretty good summary of it. Yeah, this is a continued expansion, improvement of the school facility here. As you mentioned, we had two specific areas that they're expanding. The building itself, 3,500 new building addition. They're also making a little area there. Here the exhibit on the existing the auditorium for stage, and then as required, keep up with codes for fire, proper fire protection on the site. We're making actually adding a little bit of a fire lane around the north and the northwest side of the existing facility. And also, as you mentioned, we are going to have to go with MSC because the site already has stormwater management, detention, bio-detention. Anytime you do any additional, MSC is going to already upgrade. So we're going to add another basin that's going to provide stormwater and water quality.
Very good. Further comments or questions?
No, I was going to ask about the drain water.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
Councilmember Norris.
Yes, sir. Is that going to take any of the parking, that stage? Is that going to come out that far? Because that whole row is handicap parking.
Oh, what road is that now?
The question of where the stage is going, is that
Oh,
going
right there. Well, I'm sure we're going to have to follow the code. See what's on the layout. You've got such a large parking area here. I know that there's a dedicated ADA. I don't know if it's detailed on the plan, but I think that would be a building. Would be a building permit come. We're going to have to make sure we have the proper amount anyway. We may be displacing something there. I'm not quite sure. But we'll have to do that.
because,
Right there, there's parking right there at the EDA.
right, and because that entrance goes into the really main of the school building where people, you know.
Sure. I don't see that we're doing anything right there.
Okay.
Looks like we're actually curving off that area, and then we may have to make it up at the appropriate place, let's say, close, we don't want to make it a worse path.
Right. Okay. I just was seeing that you are thinking about that. Thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Patel.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Do you have a completion date in mind?
Well, I believe the construction is always for school, so it's prime summer.
Summertime, so it's this summer?
We're getting in shape to break in, probably.
So to try to finish up before school starts in August?
Yeah, unless there's I think it's pretty much going to be something I don't want to do, try to get it done.
Okay.
This summer, but I'm not sure if that, there's always weather around. And maybe we may have to do some pushing up while school's in session, but the bulk of the heavy work, I think we can try to do done.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Very good. Further comments, questions from council? Seeing none. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone here who would care to speak in favor of this proposal for a special use permit 22PZ-22? Anyone in opposition? In opposition to the special use permit 22-PZ-22? Seeing none, we will close this public hearing and move on to our next public hearing on 22PZ-23. Mr. Grattan. I don't think I have to swear you in on this one.
So application 22-PZ-23, this is a zoning text amendment. It applies to the B2, B3, B4, and M1 district regulations, and it's related to some very specific commercial land uses. Just for a little background, this started at the Planning Commission meeting on December 12th as a discussion item. Staff has been reviewing some commercial land uses in the zoning ordinance and felt that there were a few that needed to be moved to more appropriate districts and also moved into more appropriate review requirements. And then also added a few, so some of it is some, I guess you call it minor housekeeping. So the Planning Commission had a public hearing on this matter at their January 9th meeting and recommended approval by a vote of 8-0. Just to summarize, so the first item that was discussed by the Planning Commission is related to banquet halls. So banquet halls previously were currently, unless this is approved, currently just lumped into restaurants and it's permitted by right in the B2 and B3 district. What the proposed amendment would do is it would move it to requiring special use permit in the B2 and B3 districts. So any future banquet halls or reception halls would have to go through Planning Commission and City Council for review. Tobacco accessory shops, this also includes what we also refer to as vape shops. As you recall, in the last couple of years, there have been a couple that have been before City Council for special use permits because they currently are permitted in the B2 and B3 districts with a special use permit. City Council has recently, and Planning Commission as well, not looked very favorably on those. So this amendment would remove them from the B2 and B3 districts, and it would simply move it to the B4 district, which also applies to M1 districts. So any tobacco accessory shops would, if they were looking to locate in Richmond, they'd have to look at the B4 or M1 manufacturing district, still requiring special use permit. The next item, this addresses medical and dental clinics. So we've had a few of those over the years, special use permits for the B2 district, and that was changed a little over 10 years ago, but what staff found reviewing some of the different areas of the city, there are a number of buildings in the B3 and B4 districts that were actually built for medical offices, and it's not currently listed in the B3 or B4 districts, so this would add it as a special use, with a special use permit similar to the B2 district. And then the last item simply has multiple retail land uses that are permitted by right in the B2 district, and this would also add it to the B3 district. We have a lot of areas where B2 and B3 are adjacent on St. Elbert Road, Northumberland Boulevard. They're very similar in character, so staff felt that they should be allowed to have the same retail land uses, commercial uses. And so I do have the specific language, if you'd like to look at this, is also in the packet, but this is the summary.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wright. Further comments or questions from council? Seeing none, thank you. We will open up the public hearing now. Is anyone here to speak in favor of this proposed amendment to multiple sections of the Planning and Zoning Code of the City of Bridgeton? Anyone? Is there anyone in opposition to these proposed amended sections of the Bridgeton Zoning Code? Seeing none, we will close this public hearing and move on to the rest of tonight's council agenda. Previously, you heard that on the item L, the Bill 6365 has been tabled for tonight, so we are down to consideration of new bills. Bill 6366, Councilmember Grimmer.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Move for first reading of bill number 6366.
Second.
Motion's made by Councilmember Grimmer, seconded by Councilmember Patel for the first reading of Bill 6366. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Councilmember Grimmer.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Bridgeton, Missouri, application number 22-PZ-22, amending special use permit number 18-14 to allow building additions for classrooms, a storm shelter, and stage located at 11635 Oakberry Court. Move to table bill number 6366.
Second.
Motion is made by Councilmember Grimmer, seconded by Councilmember Patel to table Bill 6366. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Abstaining? That motion carries. We are on to Bill 6367. Councilmember Grimmer.
Move for first reading of bill number 6367.
Second.
Councilmember Grimmer has moved for the first reading of Bill 6367. seconded by Councilmember Patel. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstaining, motion carries. Councilmember Grimmer.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Bridgeton, Missouri, application number 22PZ23, amending the Bridgeton Code of Ordinances, amending multiple sections to modify regulations related to various commercial land uses. Move to table Bill 6367.
Second.
Motion's made to table Bill 6367 by Councilmember Hines, seconded by Councilmember Patel. Grimmer. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Discussion items, we have none. Attorney's report.
I have nothing to report, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Council Communications, we'll start with Councilmember Zimmer.
I have nothing, thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Patel.
Last week, there was a Board of Adjustment meeting that was held here in the chamber. There was two issues on there. One was to allow a fence to not have 20 feet offset in the new Fort McKay, the corner lot there. I know we did another one that was there on the back of theirs along Pepe Road, and the gentleman was tying it into the existing fence there. And that particular post was actually already 10 feet from the right-of-way instead of being 20. So he asked for it that he could actually compromise there in the difference instead of being 0 or 20 feet to make it 10 feet. And I thought also was appropriate to do. So he would be following through on that one. Another one that was went through and was passed was the new hotel out there at Penridge for them, and it was to allow not to have it all sodded, but the back could actually be just sprayed with seed and turf, and not have to be sodded because it was an area that was not going to have irrigation anyway. But they brought up that yes, they're going to have a bond up anyway, that if the grass doesn't grow, they're going to make sure it gets done because they're going to want to have their bond released as soon as possible anyway after that. So that was also passed. And some of it was around the retention pond area. But everything that was in the front that was going to be irrigated, that can be seen by the street, was going to be sodded and irrigated as well. So it should be just fine out there. So those are the two things that passed. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Councilmember Patel.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing.
Very good. Councilmember Grimmer.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to announce Ward 2 will hold their first ward meeting, 7 p.m. Wednesday, March the 29th, here in the Government Center in the large conference room. And generally, we put out signs throughout the ward the week prior to that, but this is the first announcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hine.
Thank you, Mayor. I got a few things here. We had a very successful ward meeting last Wednesday with the weather the way it was. I believe we had about 24 people in attendance. And I want to thank everybody for being there. I want to thank the mayor for his presentation. And Chief Masadi sent Captain Steve Wooten. He gave a nice talk and also answered questions from a lot of the residents. And I want to acknowledge the Whaleys. They were there, and they're the ones that had their little dog attacked and killed. And just want to reaffirm that administration and the chief are working on some things to help prevent this from happening in the future. So just want to make sure that you know that. I was curious about the cannabis shop down here. Are they going to be able to open on time, or do we have to amend our ordinance in order to allow recreational marijuana to be sold there? I've heard some talk on the news about different municipalities that have to update that. Okay.
I'll answer that one for you.
And looks like Doc Overly, right? Is that the name? Yeah, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a few years. I also attended last Thursday with the mayor, Kevin, and Chief Masadi, the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis meeting, and it was very informative. Police chief from Town and Country gave a presentation, and it was regarding the juvenile thieves that have been carjacking and stealing cars, and they basically called that they can only catch and release them because they're juveniles. So a lot needs to be done with our court system and I guess state statutes in order to
be able to prosecute them sometime in the near future. But they have a task force that has been put together in St. Louis County. A lot of the municipalities are participating in it. St. Charles County has had a task force for a couple of years now that's been dealing with this, but they're working closely. St. Louis County is working closely with St. Charles County in trying to implement a lot of the same things that they're doing in St. Charles County. But it was very impressive, and the reason I want to bring this up too, because you see us here as council members, you know, twice a week, but we put a lot more time in than just coming to council meetings. And I want to make a point that the administration does also. There's a lot of meetings that are attended and a lot of time that is put in to these other meetings, and it's very beneficial to the city and the residents. And I want to thank Chief Masadi for his participation in that task force, and hope to see a lot more improvement, and hope to see some of the laws changed so that the benefits can be made by the arrests. But I believe that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Luke.
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Norris.
Thank you, Mayor. You know always something. I do want to welcome Junior Pietro. I do appreciate that. I said he'll be a great asset to our community. And I wanted to thank our public works, the parks, the police during this past week of weather conditions that I think came really more as really a surprise that it's so I do. Presenting goes on. Board meetings happened in the older days, before computers and before conspiracy theories. It was nice and happy times. I do want to wish all our candidates good luck, and I do want to remind to make sure you pay all your taxes and obey the rules of Bridgeton to set an example to our residents. Also, I just want to also make another comment. I'm kind of on a defense and protective mode tonight. We always hear about this constant barrage about blaming, about getting businesses. I just have a few suggestions. Stop buying on the internet. Prove we can support and patronize our local businesses in Bridgeton. We have some wonderful businesses. I'm sure you don't want me to go through but I will. Hobby Lobby, Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Kohl's, Best Buy. We have our small businesses, Granicke and Roman Beach. We have Olive Garden, Red Lobster. I counted 31 fast foods, restaurants. So we are a very, very lucky community. Let's be positive. Remember the COVID disaster. Companies are not coming back, and few are expanding. And as you go to each businesses, you see the work, always looking for people. No one wants to work. Can't open stores or businesses if you don't have employees. I just again want to reiterate, be happy. We are a very lucky community. And I love Bridgeton. I give my heart and soul to serve my residents. We are very lucky. We pay our employees. We provide so many amenities. Our public works with our streets, our snow removals, our parks, our green spaces for multiple generations to enjoy. Our police are highly trained, fair but firm, protecting our community. Let's work to make work positive for Bridgeton. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hood.
Well, I attended the pension meeting last night. And believe it or not, there's actually some sunshine coming through, and there's going to be some changes that they're going to propose to the council, minor changes, just a few adjustments, but I'm impressed with the team that we have working on this, and I think we're gonna be all right.
We will. Thank you. All right, we'll go on to department reports. Chief, you want to start us out?
Sure, just a couple things. We started out the week very busy with the bad weather. We had the ice storm on Sunday. For those of you that had not heard, we had 3 different crash scenes that officers were watching, and folks lost control of their car and struck our police cars. So we had 3 different cars and 3 different wrecks on one on 70, one on Lindbergh, and one on 370, all at different times. Fortunately, nobody was hurt in that, but it's just one of those examples that you just never know the dangers out there. 2 of the wrecks, the officers were outside of the car, kind of the cars were struck. So, and the third one also was okay in that. But I just wanted to pass that along to those of you that have been asking about that or have seen that or heard about it. Also, on the 23rd, the police commission met. We interviewed candidates and moved forward with the approval of 2 conditional hires. So those 2 gentlemen have been offered a position as soon as they get the conditions met, psychological screening, medical drug screening. We'll get them moving forward to finalize the project. So I hope to have them before council in the next month. Both of them are experienced police officers, so we're looking forward to moving forward. With that, those 2 hires, we still will have 2 additional openings, and we do have 2 right now that are in background, and they're doing interviews on, I think, 3 or 4 other ones. So hopefully we'll get those filled here shortly. Also, for those of you that asked, the fire at the BP station remains closed from last week. We were blessed in that, that was during business hours, and there were customers in there that no one was hurt. They were able to evacuate the store quickly. Kudos to Pattonville Fire District and True Pattonville Forum. They were right outside on the Rock Road when the call came out, so they got there quickly and were able to get things under control. But that appears to be an electrical issue that happened, so I don't see them opening for a while. They have some things that have to get fixed on that because it did have pretty extensive damage. That's all I had to report.
Very good. Mr. King, Parks and Rec.
A couple events we have coming up. National Wear Red Day this Friday, February 3rd. To promote heart health, and the rec center will be hosting, we'll be having an event, a Wear Red Day event, blood pressure screening, CPR demonstrations, workout challenges, healthy snacks, and raffles. So come on up. Anyone that checks into the rec center will be entered into a raffle, t-shirts, and other giveaways. Check our Facebook page for more details as far as the time and all those different events. And then we'll have our Sweetheart Ball, our annual Sweetheart Ball next Friday, 6:30 to 9:30. Girls will bring their favorite adult male, dad, uncle, stepdad, grandpa. We'll have dinner, dancing, music, pictures, games. It's always a good time. Such a good time that some other municipalities do buy a copycat and put the idea. Ate into our enrollment a little bit, but it's still well attended, and it's a really good time. So Monday's the deadline to register. If anybody knows any little girls that want to have a good time. So, yeah.
Very good. Mr. Gunn.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Mr. Bookout.
There was a question about the cannabis dispensary here in the city. Staff, Zach has drafted a letter and sent it to them, letting them know that our current zoning in B2 allows for the sale of medical marijuana by right only. The recreational is something we're going to have to come back to the council with, and that is an amendment to B2. And then that's going to depend on how you all want to proceed with that, whether it's a conditional use permit for the recreational, but that's something we're going to be bringing to you in the coming months. Thank you.
Very good. Also, in addition to that, I don't believe they've opened yet. They are still waiting for the state to come through with their license form. So it's still held on that one. And then I did note, excuse me, today that Five Below, I believe, is opened up next door to Kohl's. So that's another new store that's opening here in the city of Brewston. And next week, the City Council and myself will be meeting with the Pattonville School District Board. We have an annual meetings with them to just talk over things about how we're doing and how they're doing. So it's generally coming up next Tuesday night, I believe it is. Councilmember Norris?
Verify the time, sir.
6 o'clock. So before we adjourn tonight, though, I do need a closed session of the council very quickly. It won't take about 5-10 minutes at the most. So if I could have somebody make a motion for legal action, litigation, and confidential material. I think you gotta go through this.
Yes, read it.
The very first couple lines there on your, up the top. Yep.
A closed session may be held to discuss matters relating to legal action, litigation, confidential or privileged communication with counsel pursuant to section number 610-021-1. Move that we move to closed session.
Second.
Motion is made for a closed session of the council to discuss matters related to legal action, litigation, or confidential or privileged communication. Seconded by Councilmember Patel. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Aye.
Councilmember Grimmer,
Aye.
Councilmember Patel,
Aye.
Councilmember Hines,
Aye.
Councilmember Luce,
Aye.
Councilmember Norris,
Aye.
Councilmember Hood,
Aye.
Councilmember Patel.
Aye.
By your vote of 8-0, you approve going into closed session. It's a fake issue. All welcome to stay if you like, but it might be about 10-15 minutes. Very good. Thank you. So we will be over here.